Hi, everybody. I'm Arjun. I'm one of the founders of Everclear. Really excited to be here. Everclear is a protocol that helps kind of coordinate the settlement of intents across chains. And we were really the first protocol to start talking about this idea of chain abstraction, which is how you can use intents to remove the need for people to have to think about chains in the first place. This panel is on innovating with chain abstraction. We'll be talking to everybody that's up here about the different ways in which chain abstraction. Oh, there's Tigran. I said I would publicly shame you if you came up here late, so this is it. Let's start off by going down the row and doing a set of introductions. What is your project working on, and how does it tie to chain abstraction? Yeah.
Hey guys, I'm Jay. I'm the co-founder and CPO at Magic. We've always been working on simplifying on-chain UX, and we started in 2018, so we've been around for a long time. Like Arjun said, we're also the first player to come out with the embedded wallets. We've onboarded over 40 million users to this date and over 190K developers. Notable partners include Polymarket, who had a very great breakout moment with the election day. And then we have Immutable, like Helium, Forbes, and many more that are using us. So pretty much what we do, what we're known to this date is with the embedded wallets, making it really easy for users to be able to log in with familiar auth methods like email, like social login, and SMS. With that, though, what we've seen is definitely the identity silo and fragmentation. And why we're excited about chain abstraction is that with the accounts, with the account abstraction and also with chain abstraction, we see a real great path to solving both identity and asset fragmentation, and really offering this like one like unified experience across different chains with like one wallet. So we actually came out with a new product called Magic Passport, and that's exactly what we're looking to do on the chain abstraction side.
Hi, my name is Roy. I'm one of the co-founders for LightLink Network. We've been builders in this space since 2017 and done a lot of different enterprise projects from Australian Open to more recently Lamborghini. And we've actually been really inspired by Magic over the years in terms of how easy it is to do things on chain. And I think the opportunity is substantially bigger than the crypto natives and those that understand basics of cryptography. I really think the technology can be opened up to everybody, including my dad. Maybe not, degenning NFTs, right? But maybe playing games and investing and getting higher yield on his savings. So for us to achieve that state, we really need abstraction to welcome all the developers in this space that's not natively Web3 to participate, to build on top of the chain, and also users who are very used to signing with Google, signing with Apple, signing with SMS to interact with this technology and then getting all the benefits of this technology. So it's really important.
Hi everyone, my name is Tigran. I'm from Kinetex Labs. Right now, this is dev team our dev team in the Kinetex focus on ZK-like clients. Previously, we already make announcement with Accent Lab collaboration ZK for Bitcoin. Right now, we're also opening the application Swaps.io for users. It's like user interface with our products, which we are building. And one of the most focus is automotion. So DeFi is right now is like experimental space with a lot of different projects build their own solutions, and DeFi really, in our opinion, need to make automation when we can put a lot of processes like under the hood and not put it in the responsibility of users. So that's what we're doing right now. So we think that we are pioneers in intent-based solutions, and this is our main focus.
Hi there, I'm Michael. I'm from Etherspot. Our journey started in 2017 as well, and we were part of the Pillar wallet. And we realized that EOAs weren't really user-friendly, so we started adding a smart contract, smart account aspect to it. So that's how Etherspot was born. And as time went, Etherspot became one of the providers of an account abstraction ERC 4337 solution. And we do have quite a lot of clients and quite a lot of user base on that. And once we've done that, we started thinking, okay, account has been abstracted to a certain level, but are we solving the friction, the usability friction, because when we started our journey, we used to talk about a wallet for my grandma. So can my grandma use Web3? And we said, no. What is missing? Liquidity is fragmented. I have to know every chain, and it's like me going to Bangkok, and when I use Grab, and I live in London, me being asked on Grab, oh, can you please do an FX between your British pounds and baht in Bangkok? It doesn't work like that. So we said, hang on a minute, chain abstraction must be the solution for this. And we are working closely with Flashboard Suave in doing a chain abstraction solution, leveraging some of the technology we have created in account abstraction.
That's awesome. I'm noticing that for many of you, a big part of what's important here is being able to make blockchain applications useful for your parents, for other people in your lives. I guess that means that, I mean, it's awesome to see that there are so many organizations focused on user experience. What do you think is that kind of light bulb moment for people where they use an application and then it's like seamless enough? What do you think it takes for us to get there? What do you think is missing aside from just fragmentation and getting to this outcome of chain abstraction? Is there anything else that you guys are focused on as part of that as well?
I think when it comes to like single chain transaction, I mean single chain use case point of view, there are already like apps existing that I think actually do it quite well. What we really focused on in the beginning was like optimizing the best like acquisition funnel, and also we really optimized for a quick onboarding steps. So we reduced the friction to literally, excuse me, a one-click login. And so whether you're like a crypto savvy user or like a Web2 user, it's very easy for you to just click one click and then log in. So that was achieved. And if you really look at like Polymarket or Helium, the users that are using that app, especially Helium, I don't think they really know that they're using crypto. It's a mobile app. You log in with the email, and then you're just able to set up that hotspot, and then get it going, right? But when it comes to chain abstraction, I think this is an opportunity where we can kind of like think about the app from like the ground up perspective. And I think when it comes to like the assets, definitely there's fragmentation. But once that is solved, and then I think there will be a lot more new like solutions or like possibilities that can be unlocked with it. So when it comes to the app development point of view, once it's fully chain abstracted, I think we'll see new kinds of dApps. But in terms of like the onboarding, I think that's already been onboarding, like the UX. I think that's already been solved. It's just more about like what could get these new users be interested. What are the new use cases that can be born on top? So I think that's what's really exciting about the chain abstraction.
Yeah, just adding on top of that, I think if we see a future where payments on the retail level, you know, paying for a coffee or riding public transportation to be on crypto rails, it needs to be better than what we have today. You know, I take out my iPhone, I double click one of those side buttons, I'd be able to tap and pay. And it's so frictionless, so easy, right? And you look at Alipay or Line Pay or, you know, all these payments around the world, they're so much simpler than the current ecosystem in crypto. So not only we're competing with the norm today, we need to be better than what we have right now. And it's really hard to beat because the current process is just so easy, right? So it's either a leapfrogging technology, you might be utilizing cash and maybe current crypto payments a little bit easier, but I think for us to have realized truly mass adoption, chain abstraction as a technology, it needs to be better than what we have today.
Maybe just to double click on that a little bit. What do you think it will take to get to the point where we are providing like a better experience than a like double click the side of your phone? I mean, aside from just like I've paid with my brain, what do you think is kind of missing from the payment experience otherwise today that you think we can actually improve on?
Yeah, I think we're sort of getting there, right? Like from a TPS perspective, from a latency perspective, the whole paymaster gas abstraction, which is something that we're focusing on, is largely sort of there, but not really there yet. But I can see we will get there eventually. But in terms of, Mike said, converting from British pounds into Thai baht in a single transaction from a cross-country perspective, right? Because if you're holding USDT or ETH as a store of wealth, and you want to transact on a retail level, or in-game currencies for different games that you're playing, that cross-chain liquidity, fragmentation, capability needs to be, utilizing intent as the example, right? So we see little evidence of us converging as an industry and getting there, and I think we're sort of close. But the UX needs to be much, much better.
If I can add on, I think like PayPal is our investor, and I remember them talking about PYUSD saving a lot of, enabling a lot of efficiency on the back office when it comes to like the money movement, especially across borders. So with chain abstraction, I think there's definitely going to be a lot of different assets that are going to be flowing across different like borders and a lot of use cases. I think the UX will stay the same, but the efficiency will get a lot better, both from the cost point of view, and also it's just like we're all here in Bangkok from like all these different countries, and I feel like the day-to-day type of use case will also get a lot easier with the backbone being chain abstraction.
Do you guys want to?
Yeah, sure. I'm absolutely agree that we need to work on the UX more, and I think here we need to work not on the technical part, because from the technical aspect, I don't see any big barriers from the technical barriers, so we just need a little bit more time. But I think the most important is in the business model and in the logic, how we communicate with the users. Because, for example, what we can see right now is that I have EOA wallet. I'm pretty sure that not much people understand what's mean EOA wallet and what's the difference between smart wallet. So how's the flow like user journey work right now? I need to deposit my EOA wallet to deploy smart contracts in a smart wallet. After I need to deposit my smart wallet. And after this, I need to communicate with just a few applications which already support smart wallet. This is some kind of education which we need to also explain to the builders that, guys, you solve problems from the technical part, but you not solve problem for the communication of users. Because I think this is like the biggest barrier right now. So what we need, in my opinion, is automation. So for example, it's like we take a look on Safe Wallet or any other wallets. When I want to like work with a smart wallet, I need to keep gas on each network to deploy a smart contract on each network. And after this, I need to explain to the users that you need to deposit it there on every network. And this is a huge problem, because this is a problem not from the technical part, this is a business part. So if you want to see this in like next generation applications, when we can say that in a Uber or in like Amazon or somewhere, I want to pay with a USDT. So we need to start thinking about this way, that the users, they don't need to take responsibility to understand and educate it by themselves. And they don't need to do it manually. So the user journey prospect is supposed to be start from the beginning, when we just like ask users, like, can you please express your intent? Like, can you please say, like, what do you want? And we need to work with the actions. So I think we have everything enough. Just we need to spend a little bit more time jointly and working on this like user experience flow to do more tests.
From our perspective, we want to create the infrastructure for the builders so that they can build the coolest apps. It's not our strength, core strength, to give the client side, but to build the infra. Say, for instance, if a user has assets on 3-4 chains, can we give the infra that the user can have a unified view of those assets? Can they spend them in a unified way from any of the chains? And when we talk about intents, say, for instance, I have 400 USDC on Arbitrum, and my intention, and let's call that an intent, is to get 10% interest. Would we be able to capture that in such a way that then all the, what we call solvers, or little bots running around getting this 10% interest, they can be staking it on or loaning it, whatever they do. So can we create the infrastructure so that for the client guys to build on top of this, to create the next cool thing, the next Twitter? And you've also mentioned about Web3 and making it at least matching the existing Web2 payment. And to me, I ask myself, if I can just click and buy, why do I need Web3? Is it because of the data ownership? Is it asset non-custodial ownership? Then subsequently non-data ownership? Then can we create the infrastructure for the builders to be very creative and say, okay, I can find a cool way and seamless way of you being able to even sell your data if you wanted to monetize it. So our purpose is to create that infra to make it easier for the builders.
Yeah, just quick note on this. Was having coffee with a friend of mine this morning. They are working on a global charity capability using crypto rails. As you know, like so just talking about efficiency, right? Because it's not only efficiency of payment, but there are a lot of existing processes where there's substantial leakage of capital. So in global charity, as an example, 50% of the funds that you donate gets dispersed in the network. And so we recently did a project with Norwegian Refugee Council into South Sudan in terms of, this is all on crypto, like using USDC as the form of donation. It turned out it was 22% more effective, more efficient by using crypto rails, right? Because it doesn't go through the banking channels where it used the fixed exchange rate that was, decided by a particular political party, but it was just using a more democratic, transparent system. So there are parts of our industry where just by using crypto alone, provided much better accounting, much better transparency, much better rates, and that's something to celebrate as well.
Yeah, that's a great answer. I like that framing of like why use Web3, right? If you are abstracting away all of this complexity and you're making any application look and feel like a normal application, then you better have a very, very good reason for why that application is built on a blockchain. And it can't just be like, oh well, because it makes my number go up, because users are not going to know. There's quite a few answers that kind of involved smart accounts, and I know that a lot of people up here are involved at kind of like the accounts layer of the stack. How many people in the audience, this is a question for the audience, didn't know you were on this panel, did you? How many people here are familiar with account abstraction? Okay, cool, awesome. So I can ask some account abstraction questions. There's a lot going on in AA right now. Obviously, there's a lot of EIPs. It's a bit of a mess. One of the things that I'm most curious about, especially from your perspective, is how do you see these things fitting together? So account and chain abstraction, and then more importantly, what are the big concerns that you have today about how these things fit together? So where are you seeing things not fitting together in the way that you want them to, or in the way that you think they should be?
That's a great question. What I'm excited right now is 7579. That was actually.
Can you give a quick overview of what that
Yeah,
is?
basically it gives, from our perspective, it gives interoperability among smart accounts where you're able to pretty much share modules. And these modules could be like DCA or like the one I'm excited about is chain abstraction module. Basically, this allows you to be able to trade or just move assets without really needing to go through the bridge. You can go through solvers. And that's what I'm really excited about. But that definitely, it's like a module or like an app ecosystem that you can think about when it comes to wallets, and app equivalent would be like the modules that you can pretty much install in the smart account. And 7579 also standardizes the interface across the smart accounts between like Rhinestone, like Zero Dev, like Safe, and Biconomy, and many more. So yeah, and then going back to the question, I think that's a great initiative on the smart account world. What we're excited about is definitely the chain abstraction module, but also there's 7702 coming out. And for us, our job in the beginning was really trying to distribute as many EOAs as possible. And then within the dApps in the same chain, like that created silos, and then there are more chains, and that creates more silos, right? And we really wanted to solve that. And then we're looking to smart account for a while, and then it does also require the chain to be part of it as well. So that's why 7702, we're excited about that. And I think that gives ability for embedded wallets to really start like gaining features on the smart account side. And then also that allows us to really think about how to make them all interoperable. So it's a great challenge and it's an interesting problem. What I'm a little bit scared about is the chain abstraction space is still like quite large. Like the surface area is really big. So and also like there are many different types of like players in the space that are focused on different verticals. Even within here, I feel like when we talk about UX, we also like have different perspectives on it. And there could be paths for sure that there could be a lot more standards that are born. I don't know how that's going to look like, but I think it's really important for all of us to like really collaborate and then talk more so that we reduce that as much as possible.
Greatly said. Just a plug for ourselves. At LightLink, we did heaps of R&D around ZK authentication, where we experiment a lot around EOA type of AA architecture. And then when we saw what Sui did, super inspired by the whole zero knowledge capability to be able to get a transaction signed by Google and then generate a ZK proof and verifying that ZK proof on chain. And the ZK circuit math is just absolutely nuts. But to be able to geek out on that technology and removing the trustless nature, trusting nature of a custodian solution, it's an interesting evolution. And I'm keen to see more and more EVM and other type of capabilities adopting a ZK-based authentication. Now, what I don't have a solution for is what I love about Web3 the most. This one time, I bought a NFT on a marketplace. Then I went to another game and connected my wallet, and it was able to show the NFT that I bought. Right, so I was able to walk around this 2D, metaverse-esque thing with the NFT that I bought. That permissionless interoperability that to be able to using signing with Ethereum, to be able to use MetaMask to interact with all the Web3 ecosystem. And it's really difficult if you're using a custodian wallet, even our ZK solution, right? To be able to provide that interoperability to every single dApp out there natively. It's just really hard to do, and keen to see how other people can solve this particular challenge.
Do you remember how it was from the beginning when the DeFi starts? It was just one DEX, one wallet. Everything was simple. And we have a lot of hypotheses how it can be in the future. But now, in reality, there is too much DEXs, too much projects, too much wallets, everything a lot.
What was the one DEX?
Uniswap.
What about Kyber and Bancor and 0x and
Yeah, of course.
Radar Relay.
I mean, just from the beginning, like when we started it. So
all of those were before Uniswap?
yeah, I understand that, but anyway, it's just like an example. So when we have like one like popular, biggest like wallet, we have. I don't put the name here. I say just as an example. One popular like DEX where we have a lot of liquidity and a lot of people use it, and a lot of people explain to another. So it's like we can easily educate people because a lot of people use it, and we can explain it. Like everyone knows it, but now it's a lot of different projects which trying to do their own solutions, and it's quite hard to get all this knowledge in one time. So you need to have like AI in your brain that you can read all the internet like every day, like everything was happened just in the news, in the projects, read all the docs, read all the new EAPs, and everything was happened. So but this is a reality, and right now we understand that it will be much more. So it will be much more, and we need some kind of universal platform or language or something where it can be connected. So the problem things I think right now is that everyone doing like most of them like trying to solve this problem by their own. And there is a lot of different solutions which not always can be friendly. And that's why we're building the bridges, we're trying to build omni-chains, we experiment, like everything is different experiments. And I think that like in the future, where we need to move, it's to create some kind of language, maybe universal language, and it can be potential of intents, where we can automate all these processes. So basically, like first, what we need to solve is communication, so that the users can communicate in a free way. So we don't need to pay gas and keep gas every time when we want to make some like request. And also the builders, they will understand how they can like upload solution automatically, because right now if like new chain somewhere born, it can be L2 on Bitcoin or on Ethereum, they need to build all the infrastructure, and users, they need to wait for this infrastructure. So the chain abstraction here is one of the solution which can help us to solve these universal languages.
So I want to highlight one point that you made here, because even though I was jokingly pushing back, I think there's something really important here that's like very insightful in what you said, which is that as this space has expanded, as like competition has become more intense, no pun intended, the kind of surface area of what you have to keep track of in order to be compliant with like what the metagame is for building products in the space has just gotten really like just impossible to keep up with, right? And Tigran, I think the point that you're making is that like when push comes to shove, the one interface that everybody is always going to agree on is human language, right? If intents are this like top level interface for how we communicate how things should happen in the space, and they're in human language, no one is going to ever dispute that. And I think that's actually a really great point. It's a good framing for why intents are the thing that kind of unifies the space. Go ahead, Michael.
When I can say something on intents, but before, because you asked about the account abstraction, the things that excite me, and I agree with you. Modular accounts, I think they're awesome. It's just like going to the App Store and me getting whichever app I want, in this case, whichever module I want. And we do use a modular account session key module for our chain abstraction solution. But there are other aspects that excite me and worry me. Say shared mempool on 4337, it excites me, but I have some worries. I'll come back to it. 7702. 7702 basically means your EOAs from Pectra release around February would be enabled to behave like smart accounts to a certain degree, to a large extent. So that is exciting, but it does have a lurking danger with it. And I will go through that. So shared mempool means any bundler that takes your user operation, effectively transaction, automatically shares it with other bundlers. Now that creates decentralization and as well as censorship resistance. So it means if someone does a DDoS attack on my bundler, it's okay. Your transactions are not going to fall, even though you have used 7702 and your transactions were generated from EOAs. You're not putting them through a centralized ecosystem. So this has advantages. And one of the other things I do see is, it was launched yesterday by the AA team from the Ethereum Foundation. It went live in certain chains, but not every bundler is following it for potentially economic reasons. That worries me, because we are here talking about, we have a decentralized ecosystem, but we're putting everything through a centralized system, so I might as well use fiat if that is the case. And 7702 as well, it depends, because right now you can have a smart contract that is written to handle your 7702 calls. Again, you can make that a proprietary smart contract that goes through your own centralized system, validators, etc. Then again, you have this EOA, which was non-custodial and decentralized. You've just put it through a centralized system. So are we gaining or losing? So censorship resistance is key here. Someone let's say I'm in London, so the authorities in London say to me, okay, you cannot process this wallet, that wallet. Because I don't want to go to jail, I'm going to censor that. So if I'm using a centralized system, I'm buggered. Hence, using things like an account abstract on shared mempool solution, then I can just quickly go home and spin off a bundler on my laptop and process it myself. Hence, I have created censorship resistance. So this is one of the things that we work on, and we actually have created a mechanism where, with slight adjustments on the bundler interface, your EOS can use any of the smart accounts and take advantage of the existing 4337 ecosystem. I'm sorry I made it long. What?
No, that's actually super interesting.
I agree with you about the modular system, but what we have right now, we need to explain to the users and put responsibility for them to understand at least what is mean approve and what is call data and how to read this call data, because if they give a wrong approve, they can lose everything. And the modular system right now at least looks like DAPP when users are supposed to work with projects directly. But also we have a settlement layer, we have execution layer, we have verification layer, and we also need to put all this responsibility before the account abstraction we have to the users, because users need to check all this data and they need to understand how it works. And this is a huge barrier about if we talk about the mass adoption. So this is like settlement layer, execution layer, verification layer. It can be much more different layers in any project. But the way what I think we need to jointly solve on the market is that the users will communicate only with the application directly. And we also need to have like a platform, like maybe like marketplace or something like this for the applications. And this is the way already how we can talk about the mass adoption.
So we are unfortunately running up on time. I'm going to ask one more question and do like a quick answer if you can. And but this is something that I've always kind of been curious about, because we're all people that have been working at kind of on UX for now, I don't know, at least 5 years, sometimes a lot more. And we're getting theoretically close to this outcome, right? Where like we'll have solved scaling and we'll have solved interoperability and we'll have solved user experience, and these are all really the same problem. And so when that happens, imagine we're living in a world where those problems are all solved. You can build whatever you want on a blockchain and no one will know it's on chain. What are you going to build? What do you build next?
Oh, so for me, I think in that world, we can really think about just porting over Web2 apps into Web3. I used to work at Uber and Apple before starting this company, and I was just really fascinated by like how Uber really built this entire like logistics system. People really see it as like a ride-sharing company, but it's really a logistics company. And yeah, and then with all the routes and all that, I think with the blockchain, and if all those solutions, I mean, all the problems that you talked about being solved, I think we can just think about porting over all the Web2 apps to Web3. That's one. And then the other one is I'm also curious like if there will be like a super app kind of style that in the countries in Asia like WeChat or we see Grab here too. It's like a super app the way it seems to me. I think that could be something that,
ChatGPT in the United States.
yeah, I think that's another one that we can really think about in that world.
Yeah, I was gonna say AI. It won't be us building; it'll be AI's building, you know, the super apps, right, and telling us what to do. So, in terms of key properties of blockchain comparing to other data structures that I've had previously, it's the immutable, it's the permanence of data properties. I think that really underlines us as an industry. So then we look at our humanity, all the records out there, right? Like birth records, you know, marriage records, land titles, you know, all those things. They should all be on chain, right? So I don't know why it's not on chain right now. I think, you know, in Singapore at least, you know, GovTech is taking a lot of that initiative, but we don't need to wait for all those things to be in place for those records to be on chain. It can happen today, but they should be, you know, a couple of years from now, every single important record should be on chain.
I will keep working on automation. I'm dreaming that in the future we will have like a marketplace where we can see I mean marketplace for application. So it's like some kind of like Google app or Apple Store. So when we have different applications and user can work with the actions. So the users, they're not working like with the assets or they're not working with the call data, they're working directly with the actions. So for example, if I want to order something, or I want to get my yield, or I want to buy property with RWA, or I want to put like cell collection, I want to send gift to somebody, I want to do like event or whatever, I want to make like voting, any process. So the way how I see it, that it's like some kind of digitalization and globalization. I'm not sure that a lot of people, I mean, outside the crypto space, they understand that this is like a new era. So this is what we need right now. Like what is, in my opinion, AI. AI is like some kind of automatization also. So previously we have a Google, but in Google we need to play with the wording. We need to search by our own what is fake news, what is commercial news, what is real information. Like ChatGPT is help us to automatize all this process. And the same we need to do in the future. So like when we can talk with like our application by the voice, and we can ask him to help us to do some things. So what's the need AI in the future is to make a decision. So they need to like some kind of ability to take by their own decision. It can be probably it might be solved by the ZK part, and also we need to have like user interface where they can like can express their intention, like what they want to do. And I think in my dream, what I see is that in the future we will have some like super app. I don't know how it will be looks. Maybe it will be look like a chat, or maybe something more. Maybe it will be just a voice application where we can say like, I want to do this. Can you please help for me? Can you please find me this news? Can you please buy me something? Can you register a ticket? Can you book for me like the whole tour where it will be like insurance, ticket fly, hotel, whatever. If you're dreaming, I'm dreaming in this way.
I think what fascinates me about ownership of my data, anything I do on the internet at the moment belongs to whichever company is hosting it. So with non-custodial ownership, I get to own my data. Now, once I own my data, can I sell it? Can I monetize it? So apps that would facilitate that. I don't know how the UX goes. I don't know whether I would auction it. I don't know how I would say, this company, you can't have my data. Okay, I will give you partial data. I'll give you full access. But being able to be in charge of my data and monetize it, and I think those apps would separate Web 2 from Web 3. So to me, that's the whole point of Web 3, owning my data and being able to decide whatever, not they deciding on my behalf. So that's what excites me.